on merry-go-round for our first map. It's Bloop versus Pal! And in the lower left-hand corner, the lower left, 6 o'clock position, we start with the yellow Protoss player representing MaxFloPlay. It's Pal. Of course, MaxFlo, a completely Polish team. And interestingly enough, DarkStar, completely Swedish team, so we've got kind of a bit of a Polish versus Sweden thing going on here tonight. So I hope you're all going to enjoy that. If you guys are cheering for a certain team, do let us know in the chat. We are very interested to see who is cheering for who and who you guys want to see win. So do let us know who you guys are cheering for today, if it's MaxFlo or DarkStar, of course, who's their first player. Up in the top left here is the red Terran. It's Bloop. A Terran player who has been on an absolute tear lately. He's just got better and better and better. I first saw him, when did I see him? I guess it was in probably one of the Zowie Celeritas series qualifiers, I believe. It was something like that, and he just went on this absolute killing streak of players, and I think he just fell just short in the semi-finals or so, which is a little bit of a shame. But he's just a fantastic Terran player. He's kind of come out of nowhere, if I do say so myself, and he just seems to continue getting better. So really strong choice. DarkStar's entire team just seem to get better and better. I mean, they haven't really added on anyone to their team very recently, but their most recent pickups, such as Dax, Vanster, they were very good players, and they really did increase the level of the team by quite a significant margin, and really has put them in this position where, you know, last season they did very well. They were pushing for the playoffs and they just didn't make it. This season, their new roster really puts them in a position where, considering the groups have got much harder as well, they are still very likely to make the playoffs, so that's obviously going to be fantastic for them. 2-2 right now, of course, is their match score in the overall SC2ITL, and you know, that's good. It's pretty decent. You know, they've only lost to fairly good teams themselves, and again, as I said before, they've lost very narrowly each time, so quite hard to really slate them. As we do actually see Pal actually does hide his probe in the natural, and the Reaper, that means, will not kill that. And this SCV taking quite some damage, and the command center actually going to be delayed here because of this. Probe is going to go straight into the main base, as he's going to start checking around and just get a bit of a scout off, and he sees pretty much standard player reactors on this barracks, and 2 more barracks are down, while at the same time this Reaper just running around. No kills on it just yet. Looks like he got nibbled away at by a probe just for a couple of moments, but Mothership Core is going to be here. In fact, there's a Zealot there that's the Reaper has been attempting to pick off, not successful in doing that. So, and now that this Reaper will just back off down, the natural expansion for the Protoss player well on the way, and it's actually a pretty decent time. It's going to finish just before, I guess it's going to finish just 10 seconds after the Terran player, after the delay that was put on this command center. So overall, a pretty nice opening here for Pal, as he has got his Mothership Core out. He's all nice and safe right now, and he adds on a robo facility as well as a gateway, just to go into what's most likely going to be a very standard play for him. You know, no kind of gimmicky things, no Dark Templar to start things off, no blink plays, just straight up robo facility, get some observers out, and probably head straight on into Colossi as the game goes on. Reaper trying to come in for another scout here. Not really too much it's going to end up seeing in the natural, and it does stop there for a few moments, allowing it to take a couple more shots from this Mothership Core. Stalker comes down the ramp and picks that off. And no real more information gained from Bloop, and that's a bit of a shame, because if we check his vision, of course, he has not seen that robo facility. He hasn't seen the extra tech that has gone down just yet, so he doesn't know exactly what's going on, and he may very well use a scan to try and identify what is happening from his opponent fairly soon. Alternatively, he can go for this little bit of a push. The first Marauder handful of Marines is always a signal for the Terran player to start moving out and to start putting a bit of pressure on, mostly just so that they can try and pick off the Mothership, well, not pick off the Mothership Core, but force a Photon Overcharge out of the Protoss player. And that Photon Overcharge, combined with a couple of Zealots to tank a bit of damage, and maybe even, and these 2 Stalkers, should be more than enough to deal with this little army here. So, you know, Pal's not in any real trouble here. His Photon Overcharge should go down, maybe at the last possible moment, just to, you know, make sure he gets the most out of it. Bait these units as far forward as he can. He warps in a couple of Zealots. He's looking to try and just hold this off without it, and he does. And that's pretty nice for him if he continues to do this, because it means he's going to have an extra Photon Overcharge later in this game. Moving forward once again here, this is the kind of reason why that Photon Overcharge is good, because there isn't that many range units here, and the Zealots cannot close the distance so easily. Stim's about to finish for the Terran player here. He's not going to commit any further in. An Observer going to spot the rest of the Terran army just and where it just sits here for the moment, as a Robo Bay comes up. in the main base of the Protoss player as well, so it is just going straight into these Colossi. More Zealots being warped in, so really going for a lot of gateway units here to defend this instead of that thrown overcharge. And it's working out for him so far, but I mean, what is the cost of this for him? Well, you know, I guess not so much. It's not so bad. These Terran units can maybe going a bit too far forward there. They are now going to turn around for sure. And Pal has a lot of gateway units out now. He's also got this double thought and overcharge available, so when medevacs do start coming out, which is going to be very soon, as this starport gets ready to swap over with the onto the reactor from the factory, he's going to be able to defend in 2 places very, very easily at the start of the harassment. So he's really going to be able to buy himself a lot of time to build up his own army, to build up his Colossi count and everything else, which really does matter. Single forge on the way as the extended filament lands and the first Colossi comes out here, and going up to the 3rd and 4th gateways as well. So again, just a very standard play from Pal, nothing too crazy. He's starting to invest in his upgrades. Interestingly enough, not going for that double forge, just a single forge for now. And yeah, I mean, he may very well add the 2nd forge much later on. For now, he's saying the most important thing is actually going to be my armor upgrade, so that his zealots can be all nice and tanky at the front of his army throughout. Probably going to see a Twilight Council come down soon to start getting that charge, or maybe even blink out, but with this number of zealots, charge may very well be the safer option to begin with. Depends how comfortable he's feeling against the drop play, as we do see the first medevacs are now moving out here for Bloop. Heading across the map. And his own +1 is just about to finish here, so he does have a little bit of an upgrade advantage, considering his combat shields and concussive shells. It's also just about to finish. This is a very nice timing as he loads up his first 2 medevacs. There's a lot of kind of unseen space in the main base here, and absolutely everything could actually come down here into the main. Now there's a lot of stalkers over here. This this group of Terran units won't really care about that as they stim forward. They're going to go for the Cybernetics core initially, now going to trade against these stalkers, stimming up the natural ramp as well. Going to get turned away pretty easily here. Medevacs boosting away, get targeted down, one of them does. The other one comes back, he's going to pick up these units, but not before he tries to get the Colossi. It takes Colossus takes a lot of damage, in the meanwhile gets away with as many units as possible. And not bad initially. He killed quite a lot of stalkers here. That's a pretty important thing to note. 17 Marines lost though for 7 stalkers. Pretty even if you look at the resources lost. Protoss has actually lost a little bit more. And behind all of this, the Terran player starting to establish his 3rd command center. It's going to finish up in just a few moments, and then he'll be able to, of course, move that out, land that, and start dropping those mules at that 3rd base, and just get his real free base economy up and running. Mines in production as well here for Bloop. So his composition going to be bio-mine for the majority of this game. Still just flying around with this medevac, which is hitting against the hitting against the wall of the map here. And now it's going to land into the natural, just as the Protoss army is actually over at the 3rd base clearing out over there. Phone overcharge is actually used to clear this up, and the medevac will just get away. Probably wants to go home with that just now, as it does have not too much health left on it, so any further harassment from this is likely to lead to its death. And the fact that the rest of the units won't be able to get home either. Alright, well, Bloop's done a good job so far. He's really denied the Protoss from taking his 3rd base for quite some time, as he's already got his 3rd base up, morphing into a more orbital now. First SCV is starting to mine there, and that means he's even going to come over here with this drop, and the Protoss army is very far out of position, all the way over to the left, looking as though it might have been going for an attack, and he's not actually target firing this next, as a couple of Marines are on the pylon. And that may very well be the difference here between picking this off and not, as the Protoss army comes over. Is he going to get it? Oh, he gets the cancel, picks it up, saves the units anyway, and that medevac, keeping it out on the map, has paid dividends for him as he once again comes for a drop now into the main base. Going to once again start trading off against these stalkers. A few of them starting to go down, and well, this army is just still sitting in the middle of the map, looking to maybe pressure forward in towards the natural, saving one of them. Well, I guess that was the only medevac actually there. But Pal looking to retake his 3rd base here, but his economy is really starting to be a little bit lackluster. Bloop does lose this medevac over here and does have to fall back with this army, but he does have a drop once again coming into the natural. Not too much left here, but the positioning behind the gateway is ever so slightly annoying. Finally, the photon overcharge is going to deal with this. And Bloop, the main thing he's really doing here is buying himself so much time. Can't really engage with this small force here, but he's buying himself a lot of time to build up his Viking count, so that when the Protoss army does come up for full-on engagement, he will have the Viking numbers to be able to really deal with it. 3 Colossi right now, and we've got 5 Vikings, the 6th and 7th on the way. So, you know, he's pretty much there with his Viking numbers. He's obviously going to want to go up to about 12, and maybe even up to 16 if more Colossi are made. But 8 is going to be a pretty solid number to begin with, so Protoss doesn't feel comfortable enough really pushing across the map, as these Stalkers do just take the tower with the blink. Of course, it's very safe for them to stay out on the map like this. Very little will actually kill them, as an extra Viking does come out. But you have a pylon up here positioned very close to this third base, and can come in and harass that with some Zealots in the near future. Maybe if he draws the Terran army out a bit, maybe with these Stalkers, as he's actually going to pick off a Viking. So again, just doing damage for free here with these Stalkers, as he just blinks away now. And for once, there's actually nothing really happening on the Protoss side of the map. He's just finally getting his expansion up. There's no drops for him to defend against, and he's finally going to be able to start stabilizing here. He's got a similar army supply to his opponent. His 1-1 is finished. His +2 is on the way. So the upgrades are actually very, very even, with only single upgrades coming out from either side still. And the +2 on either side being very evenly timed. So upgrades very even, not the standard Protoss leading upgrades, which we do see quite a lot. And the Terran player, once again, looking to move out, maybe do a bit of damage here. He's still just got a few Vikings in the sky, having lost a couple. The number does dwindle just a little bit. A single Immortal with, with a Zealot in the main base is going to be enough to turn this drop around, and most of that actually gets killed off. But it does refocus the army and the attention of Pal towards his main, as he is moving in towards the third base. And his Pal just not got any map vision up here. No, he doesn't, and he's going to lose this third base in just a matter of seconds. This goes down, and a couple of pylons go down as well. And with these mines positioned, I guess they're not positioned the best. If a few were here, it would help out as well, but the position does help kind of create a bit of a retreat path for him. Simming forward here, he's going to pick off once again, well, only a single Stalker, but just trading against them Stalkers is always nice, and especially when it's for free. And just sticking in this kind of aggressive positioning is Bloop, as he is right now maxed out, and he's even got a fourth base about to finish as well. So Pal is really in a tough spot right here. He's kind of got this one army to kind of be all and end all. He needs kind of a fantastic engagement right now to really just, you know, be in this game, because if he trades evenly, it's not going to be enough for him. And now a triple drop into his main base. Only a single feed pack comes down, but he doesn't kill any of these, and this number of bio units is actually going to force a recall of a number of units into the main. But the Terran army doesn't seem to care. He's just going to keep on fighting. Now these Zealots finally start to fight at the third base. Not too much else is happening. We do have some Zealots harassing the third base of the Terran player, but that's cleaned up very, very quickly. And these Terran units are going to pick up. Again, most of them saved, only 8 units lost. However, the Protoss going to take this opportunity to move forward and attack into the army, which was still positioned up here. And he does trade fairly well. He only loses one of the Colossi, and he kills off quite a lot of the bio. So again, this is kind of the trade Pal wanted. It wasn't exactly what he needed, but it was kind of enough. We still actually have this drop unloading in the natural. And Pal, now that his third base is about to be re-established, considering he's about even on supplies, he might just about be okay here as he turns around another drop. His third base finishes, so now he's going to be mining just about the same as the Terran again. I guess the Terran's about to land a fourth base to transfer his main SCVs over, and that's something Pal really struggles with right now. However, Pal doesn't have quite as many workers as his opponent, so Pal actually had an army supply advantage here, and in the end, I guess that recall did actually work quite well for defending that drop, and taking that advantage to attack into the army which was positioned here. Worked out well for him. This 3 medevacs are still sitting in a dangerous location, can drop into this third base almost immediately, and there's nothing here right now, just that single cannon. But of course, Bloop's attention will be focused towards the front as this Protoss army does advance forward. There is some Templar in the army right now. Storm is finished. It's 2-2 against 2-2. +3 again is going to be pretty evenly timed for either side, but the +3 attack is also coming up, as well as the second forge has been added. A couple of DTs are heading into the main and natural. No detection right now for Bloop, and this is going to divert his attention just as Pal wants to move forward here. And look at this, he's moving forward. He throws down a Storm on this army, and this Templar may very well end up going down. Will he save it? No, he will not. A snipe comes down on that, but DT in the main doing quite some damage already. DT in the natural as well, and already 7 kills on this one and 9 on the one in the main. And again, this is going to be the opportunity for Pal to move forward as the attention is diverted elsewhere, but he's not quite comfortable in doing so just yet. Puts his Stalkers forward, gonna look for a Viking pick off, and he doesn't just actually get one of them there. And backing off once again as another scan comes down. We do have these medevacs apparently have done a little bit, not too much though, and looks as though they are getting cleaned up, as this planetary fortress is up and running for Bloop, and he's still actually struggling to deal with this DT in his main. 12 kills there, and overall we've actually seen 23 workers killed for Pal now. So despite all the drops, despite all the aggression here, Pal has killed more workers throughout the game, and that actually puts him now at a worker lead. Not the worst thing in the world for the Terran player. He's got a few extra orbital commands. He's probably going to be thinking to himself, I didn't want all them SCVs anyway, as a few units move forward here, maybe looking to pick up a pylon. The Protoss army meets them, however. And the Protoss army just holding the tower right now, so he does see exactly what's coming in. A huge storm on the bio units, a storm to try and divert the Vikings and the Ghosts as well. But in the end, it's going to be just Pal falling backwards here. The Stalkers trying to target down some Vikings. They're all very low on HP, and all of them are going down with... but there's only one Colossi left in the army as well. A lot of Zealots here, and the Bio army is very heavily stimmed. It's very damaged, and a couple of Templar are coming in. Another Colossi as well, and the damage may just be too much. The EMPs are huge all over the army, but Bloop is going to have to fall back. He doesn't have enough health on his units to be able to do anything here, and there's still a DT in his main base. Another DT coming in to do some damage, another one in his natural as well, and he just can't quite deal with this right now, and the Protoss army continues to march through the middle of the map. Warpin's coming from this pylon up here, and he's going for a kill right now. Pal did not have the best of starts to this game, was denied his third base for a long time, but he's turned it around with some fantastic engagements and some fantastic defense from drops, and now he's maybe looking for one last move. His army is majorly Zealots right now, and a big warping of Templars is going to morph in, it's actually a few sentries in there, but he is going to morph in some Archons to be able to kind of push through, and without any Ghosts, 3-3 Archons are going to be very difficult to take down. They're going to be so tanky, and this DT still just killing reinforcements in the main base. Finally a scan cleans that up. 10 kills on the DT before that goes down though, and this Terran army once again trying to just pull back. And a few Vikings coming out, more Colossi being produced for Pal back at home. He is taking a fourth base as well behind this, so eventually here he's going to end up even in the economy of the Terran player. Even in the bases of the Terran player, the economies are probably already about even, if not in favour of Pal, as this final engagement maybe goes down. The Terran army haven't had to stim so many times without that many Medivacs in the sky, having lost so many of them through dropping. It's just not getting healed up, and again, Pal is continuing to move forward. He's got energy for storms. There are not Ghosts in this army anymore. And a single mine picks off a single Zealot, and that's not what he needs. The single storm not actually used on as many units as he maybe would have liked, but it doesn't matter. He's going in anyway. Force fields trap some of the units behind the barracks. The rest of the units kiting into the main base, but it doesn't matter. Everything's going to go down, and Bloop, half the supply of his opponent, is just going to have no option here other than to type GG and accept that MaxFlo are going to go 1-0 up in this best of 7. GG called, and Pal taking game number 1 in this best of 7 all-kill clan war. Alright, well, what a start that was. A 25-minute TVP. I love TVP right now. When the Terran player drops and it's just action from start to finish, it's just fantastic to watch, and that's actually what we saw. But then we saw this amazing kind of... I don't know how far Pal really was behind. I mean, he didn't have... You know, he was struggling to get his third base up, but he was trading well enough, and again, that big fight against the army, I really feel that was a turnaround moment there. And, well, MaxFlo taking a 1-0 advantage right now. Guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break here, and when we come back, we'll be in game number 2 as we await the player and map and get the lobby set up, etc. So, while we'll be right back, if you're enjoying the stream, do make sure to hit that follow button if you haven't tuned in to us before, and we'll be back as soon as we can with a few more, with map number 2 of MaxFlo vs. How are we all doing? We are back here with the SC2 Improved Team League Season 2 match between MaxFloPlay and DarkStar. Our next player is going to be Multi from DarkStar going up against Pal in the PvP. Let's see how this is going to turn out. Both the players are ready, so we should be starting this map any moment, and it is going to be Overgrowth for map number 2 in this best of 7 all kill. Great start for MaxFlo here, a start which represents how they've been playing throughout the season so far. 3-1 scoreline. Again, they've just been dominating. Even some of the best teams, they dominated Cascade 4-1. It was a fantastic series to watch, and they're just looking to continue on. If they won this match here again, it would just really start to solidify them maybe for a playoff position at the latter end of the season. So let's see how this is going to go as map number 2. We're going to see if DarkStar can even things up, or whether MaxFlo are really going to start running away with the series. Going to be starting with the green Protoss player in the lower left-hand corner. It's Multi for DarkStar. And in the upper right-hand corner, MaxFlo plays Pal. PvP, I always find it really interesting when teams put out a Protoss against a Protoss, or to some extent a Zerg against a Zerg. You know, the mirror matchups, while nowadays a lot more stable and a lot less volatile than they were in the past. They're still, I'd say, some of the more volatile, they're more kind of anything can happen than some of the other matchups still. So PvP especially is a matchup, however, which has really changed so much as time has gone by. And here on this map, of any map, we could even see kind of what used to be such a rarity, the long game, the late game PvP. I mean, this map, once players start getting Colossi up, there's no real way to push into your opponent. You know, you can harass with your Warp Prism, you can pull him out of position, but if your opponent is on top of that, you can't attack into him. You know, what you're going to do to attack into his Fid, you've got to come up this ramp here, which he can be defending, or you've got to come into this location here, which he'll be defending with a choke. And then even for a fourth base, I mean, there's this back fourth base, there's even the gold, and the gold's not even that hard to hold either, because once you take these rocks down, you kind of sit in the middle, and as long as you have some kind of map control, you can very easily watch both main entrances of attack. Of course, there's this kind of back entrance here as well, but it all comes down to your map control. And being such a narrow map, that map control is very quick and easy to establish again and again, even if it's cleared out. So this is the kind of map where we can see them longer games. We've seen a lot of already, I've seen a lot of Swarm Host games on here which go very, very long. I've seen a lot of, I think was it WCS Challenger League? I think Todd played Gung Fu Banda. And they went over an hour here on Overgrowth, and you can just see by the design of the map why that happens. And quite often it comes down to this very critical base here and who can establish that, because it's the most open of bases, and if you can establish this while your opponent can't, then all you have to do is trade just as efficiently or just a little bit less efficiently, and because you're mining more, you would end up winning. So let's see if the game is even going to get to those stages, though. We do have double gas down for both players. Looks as though they came down very similar timings. As well, we've got a bit of a difference. We have a Mothership Core coming out for PAL, whereas we just see the Stalker from Multi. He's actually added on a second gateway, so it's going to be a 3 Stalker opening at least here with the Mothership Core as well. He's going to maybe look to get a bit aggressive here right from the start of the game. PAL, only with a single gateway up, of course, is not going to be doing anything like that. He is actually chrono boosting, okay, he's actually adding a second gate and probably a third. With a chrono boost on the warp gate as well, he may go for just a big 3 gate pressure and just get aggressive right from the get-go himself. So while he isn't investing in as many units as early on, he is definitely looking to put some pressure on his opponent. Multi, with 2 gateways, he's also chrono boosting his warp gate. He's not adding a third gateway though, so he's going to find himself maybe a little bit behind here, and if he's a little bit too aggressive, things could get very, very troublesome for him, especially if he loses his Mothership Core out in the middle of the map. Even if it comes under fire and he has to recall, you know, that's a very dangerous spot to be in, because your Photon Overcharge is going to take so much longer to be ready then. Right now we do actually see the Mothership Core of PAL spotting this pylon. And Multi back at home, just adding on a Robo Facility. How much will he commit to this? Will he warp in at all? Well, he is moving forward, so it looks as though he will try to. He does have another pylon at the third base of PAL as well, as this pylon does go down, and it looks as though we're just going to see PAL is going to attack into Multi Stalkers here. 2 Stalkers are going to come from behind though, and it looks as though Multi might be able to pick off this Mothership Core. He will, and PAL maybe now in a little spot of trouble. He does have 3 gateways, he should be able to warp in, and he does have a sentry here as well, so he should be able to just force field the ramp, and he should be more than safe. And there's that force field coming down just perfectly. Mothership Core thinking about if it wants to go in any further, and honestly I don't think it does. With warpins coming in, it can get turned around very, very quickly, and another sentry comes down, perfectly replaces that force field there, and this turned into a very interesting kind of situation. PAL did get up Stargate behind all of this, but he kind of just took that fight a little bit too early before he really got 3 warp gates of production in, and that kind of hurt him a little bit. Now this Void Ray coming out for defense as Multi moves forward with his Mothership Core. Is he being a little bit too aggressive here? Because this Void Ray, if it uses prismatic alignment, should just kill that recalls immediately. And now back at home, this Mothership Core will have to just start regaining some energy if it wants to use Photon Overcharge against any form of counterattack. No Nexus being put down by either player just yet. Oh my god, PAL's got a probe in his opponent's base, and Multi actually sees this on his mini-map. For a moment there, he now moves his Mothership Core over, and he sees it once again as PAL just cleans out another pylon. Multi actually hitting a supply block with this double pylon on the way for him, and his probe is still just hiding in the corner. It is seen, but Multi is yet to really take action against it. And Wow, so this probe gonna, for now, stay hidden. As it looks as though Multi, the first player to expand here. PAL is not going to be too far behind. In this stage of the game, it's very unlikely with the units that are out and the tech that's out, that either player would realistically be able to push across the map and do much damage. I mean, both players have a significant number of gateways. They both have some kind of defensive tech up, albeit Multi hasn't actually made an immortal just yet. There's a void, and there's void rays up for PAL, so can't really attack. Best expand, and Multi gonna get set for the long game already. Added on a forge and added on blink as well, so really just preparing himself here. Still no immortals coming out, and kind of intrigued as to what kind of composition he's going to look to play. Is he going to add on the Robo and go straight to Colossi? Is he just going to start add on immortals and go straight into Temple Archives and go Immortal Archon? PAL, as soon as his own Robo facility finishes, he begins that first immortal here. So looking to go and just start building up his composition for later in the game. Immortals are pretty much a key unit in any composition in PvP, whether it be Colossi, whether it be Immortal Archon. Immortals are always something which are very useful to have, and they're very great defensively as well. The only kind of negative factor to building Immortals is that they're fairly expensive, and if you were to instead spend your money investing into a Robobay and Colossi, of course that would be much more effective, but it opens you up to some timings if you don't get these immortals out initially. So once the second base, once the next eye come up for either player here, it's going to be, and once the gas comes up, both players are going to feel probably a little bit safer to start teching into Colossi, because they're not going to be throwing literally all of their economy towards that tech. Multi actually going to move out here, and again we saw this in the last game only with PAL doing it. It's very safe to move out with these stalkers once they have blink. Now blink just a few seconds away here, so they will be able to disengage. If he wants to reveal that blink is available, and he does actually reveal that blink in one stalker to the back, continuing to fight here, trying to trade against one of the void rays. PAL with good control as well, though. He pulls that hurt void ray back, and Multi is going to fall back to his natural right now. He does have a photon overcharge available to him. He actually almost has a second as well, and with one immortal out and a second about to finish, this is should be a fairly easy hold for him, especially if he can get +1. Now +1's another 40 seconds away, so he might not be able to get that up. Immediately that probe gets picked off by the photon overcharge. Alright, so PAL wants to get aggressive here. He's not actually saturating his natural expansion at all, and you can see in the work account 41 probes for Multi against 21 of PAL. But Multi's bought time with this photon overcharge. His +1's going to finish, and that's going to be a big factor in any kind of fight here. Again, with these stalkers looking to just try and pick off a zealot or two for free before the main engagement does start to take place. So again, just doing a good job. You know, he's got nothing else to really do with his APM right now. Adding on some extra gateways. He is supply blocked, which is a really bad time to be supply blocked. However, his +1 is finished. His 3 immortals are in range here. A couple of them getting trapped at the front, but his zealots are stuck in the back. And one immortal goes down very quickly. These 2 voiders in the sky add so much DPS, and is Multi going to be able to hold on? I'm a little bit unsure right now. I don't think this upgrade advantage is going to be able to do it for him. And his gateways are just not here in time. That supply block came at the worst possible time. If he could have warped in a few more units, he had the money to do it. That could have been the difference, but GG comes down. Them sentries prove to be worth a lot for PAL. Them force fields proving invaluable, as he blocks off the army then, blocks out a lot of the zealots and immortals from actually just fighting for Multi out all in the fight. And PAL takes the game kind of with a fake expand, or I mean, he expanded but he was never really going to use it unless his main base ran out of minerals, so he was never going to go up to 2 base economy unless that attack didn't work and he came out kind of even. Then he would have maybe started deciding to probe up, but it would have been very difficult to come back for him if he didn't do major damage there. Fortunately for him, of course, he did win the game. So 2-0 for MaxFlo very quickly, in all honesty. I guess the first game was fairly long. We're actually 45 minutes into the broadcast, so I guess things are moving along at a steady pace. Let's see if DarkStar can pull it back in game number 3. I don't know who they're going to send out here. They don't. They've got a couple of players in the chat, Avocado and Dax. So we'll see who they think is maybe the best player to go up against the Protoss player PAL here in map number 3. So once again, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break while DarkStar make this decision, pick their player, pick their map, and we'll be back as soon as possible. In the meantime, if you want to find out more about the SC2 Improved Team League, the best place to head on over to is sc2improved.net. Our website has all the information about upcoming matches, where you can watch them, teams and has articles about what's going on. Just released an article which recapped the league up until week 4. So if you haven't been keeping up with the SC2ITL, if it's your first broadcast, for example, you can go read, see how teams are doing compared to how they are expected to be doing, see if there's any surprise. And there's a couple of teams mentioned, DarkStar one of them, about teams to really watch out for in the coming weeks. So do go check that out at SC2Improve.net in this quick little break while we get game number 3 set up between MaxFloPlay and DarkStar. Guys, we shouldn't be gone too long. Map number 3. Hello, welcome back to SC2 Improve Team League Season 2. DarkStar versus MaxFloPlay. Right now we're in game number 3 between Vanta and Pal, as MaxFlo and hence Pal have taken 2 maps in a row off of DarkStar to create this 2-0 advantage. Vanta, the next player out here for DarkStar, the Zerg, on King Sejong Station, is a map where I don't know how I really feel about ZVP. I think the two different. I think we quite often see the pros player try and take this 3rd base nice and quickly, but once this 4th base comes into play, it becomes really interesting, because if the Zerg has this 4th base, everyone's favourite unit, the Swarm Host, becomes so powerful. You just, you kind of mass Swarm Hosts just in this general location, and you can just rally them so quickly over to the Protoss player who makes a 4th base here, or even towards here. It's quite easy to push across depending on how good your creep spread is. So quite intrigued. A nice little move here straight away by Vanta as he hides his drone as this probe does go into the main base, and that means he might just be able to get this down before the pylon block comes in, but no, he will not. So a little bit unfortunate there. It kind of worked out, but the time was just a little bit off, and Pal was able to get back down in time to be able to block this. So doing a good job so far, though, darting in and out, stopping his probe from getting hit, and just doesn't get the block in that time around. But his probe's still here, steals 5 minerals as well, and he's now going to be able to head on back home with this. I'll keep it out on the map as well. He's actually going to come check into the main base right now, see how many Zerglings are being made, and see if there's any gas up as well. And you can see immediately he spots 6 Zerglings and turns around with that. And he now just come in to check this gas. He sees no gas just yet, so this tells him a little bit. Tells him there's no mega fast speed on the way, no gas before pool or anything like. Well, I guess he knows there's no gas before pool because he was already in there. But he's just checking the gas time, and that can give him some extra information. Currently boosting out a Zealot right now, and he's also currently boosting out a Sentry behind this as well. So he's just going to take a pretty slow expansion himself here, just make sure he's going to take it nice and safely. Can't really rush out to take it with these 6 Zerglings on the way. A lot of the Zealot's power and the Mother is within just standing this wall. Mothership Core is now out, so he will be able to force his Zerglings away, and expect to see this natural expansion come up in the very near future, I think. As these Zerglings are actually just hiding everywhere. Pal's going to spot one of them, going to start attacking that, and it's actually going to get picked off by the Sentry in the end. Does the Sentry get the kill? No, the Mothership did. Alright, well, Mothership Core racking up a kill already here, as the probe does now come down. Pal just going to get his expansion coming down. Still no gas, interestingly enough, from Vanta. And what does this say? Well, he knows it's a gateway expansion. He's seen the units. He's seen that there's no forge. He's seen there's no early nexus. So he's still just deciding to defend with no gas if any kind of gateway timing comes at him. Specifically kind of very quick 4 gateway timing. He's going to have to defend with slow Zerglings and Queens to begin with. So the real key to him being able to defend is to take his 3rd base not too quickly, and also to make sure that he knows any kind of attack is coming, because if he knows an attack is coming, he can mass up Zerglings, and even though slow Zerglings aren't the best, having enough of them will be enough to push it back. We saw it yesterday in the Zawi Celebritas series, if you guys were tuned in. Johnny Rico against Ignite. Johnny Rico, he actually even lost his 3rd base. He made a lot of Zerglings, he ended up losing his 3rd base anyways, but it didn't really matter because he had enough units to force it back and not die at that point. And because he didn't die, the tech was very delayed for his opponent, and he was able to fight on in the game. Right now we see Vanta, he's moving his lings all over the place. He's on the hunt for a probe. Are any of these Zergers actually rallied to go up to the high ground? It doesn't look like they are. And that's why this probe is currently hidden. Rotor now on the way, and free gas is coming up at the same time, so he's going to be able to get his roaches out in the near future here. There isn't going to be any kind of gateway aggression coming out of Pal, and the forge coming up in the main base as well is going to allow him to start getting his upgrades going, and very likely as well maybe even take a fast 3rd base and get a cannon up behind a couple of gateways for some extra defense as well. So also a possibility from Pal, as he's still yet to really invest in any kind of tech past gateway and upgrades. Third base, as previously mentioned, is going to come down at a safe time, and again, he hasn't rushed this down as fast as he would against Forge Expand. He's put it down later than you can against certain gateway expands, but as I said before, he's not rushed this out, just taking it nice and slowly, and 100%, you know, if an attack were to come, he probably would be able to hold it off. A few roaches now on the way. First Phoenix is hallucinated Phoenix is flying overhead, getting what does it see? Not too much really. Not too much in the natural. Doesn't see anything in the main base. He's scouted the roach run, I guess, so he knows roach. At least some roaches are coming out. He doesn't know that it's going to be a pure roach play. It could be just a roach run for safety's sake early on. And there's that third base coming up with Pal here. So again, with that forge up, he can get this third base down nice and quickly. Very likely they'll add on a Twilight Council so that he can start +2 nice and quickly as well. And once he's got +2 as well, Blink is another great thing to defend on 3 bases. And it puts him in a really good position against Mutalisks as well, which is very important, considering he hasn't opened with a Stargate at all here. Sentinel's going to move in the back, defend from any lings, and a couple of gateways coming up to create a bit of a wall off with the third base. Infestation pick coming down nice and quickly from Vanta as well, as we do actually see a pylon is established. And with this infestation pit, he's probably going to be looking to go, I assume, straight into swarm hosts. This would be the fastest hive rush I've ever seen if he goes straight into hive, and I'm not sure if it would even be worthwhile going into hive this quickly, but oh my god, he does. Well, okay, so he's going for a pre-10-minute hive. I mean, he's going to have Vipers out very, very quickly here. He's going to have Roach Hive with Viper, and he's going to hit a very early timing, I have to assume. A timing at which there's barely going to be any Corsair on the map anyway, so you've got to... I kind of question how effective are the Vipers really going to be anyways, as there's actually a lot of sentries moving across the map here. A couple of force pylons coming down, and this has just been a little bit of a fake third base to get some extra gateways up behind. It looks as though it might have been. He's only on 45 workers, and a lot of force fields coming down. He is about to have 6 warp gates worth of units coming in at a time. In fact, yeah, 6 warp gates worth of units, plus 1 has just finished as well. So this is a really nice timing so far out of Pal, as it begins to do a lot of damage. This greed with the fast hive, maybe putting Vanta into a bit of a kind of tough position here. He's maxing out on pure roaches right now, but these force fields, the way they're setting up, is just going to deny him from coming in and defending this. The time warp in a very nice position as well. The third base is going to go down. There's nothing he can do about this. But the good thing is, I mean, Pal doesn't have much of a follow-up behind this. That's one thing that Vanta has to be kind of thinking to himself here. He's got to think, you know, what kind of follow-up do you have behind this? And the answer is none. He's got only gateways. He's still only on +1. He doesn't have a Twilight Council either. So, yes, there's only roaches, but he's got a hive. He starts his third base again here immediately. He now has his roaches in position where he's going to be able to come forward a little bit more easily and not get trapped between these 2 choke points, which Pal was abusing before. But Pal's moving forward once again. He's going to go for that same set of force fields. Vanta has to cancel almost immediately, and again, Pal just keeping up this aggression. He has the ability to just recall as soon as things get a little bit troublesome. And still, I mean, he's just not using this third base at all. He even duped me, and I could see that he wasn't making workers. Now he's gone back into worker production as a transition out of this. And Vanta, I mean, now he's adding on some Hydras into his army, and you can see Pal finally decides it's time to go back home. Vanta, he actually has this base on the way up right now. He needs to double expand. He needs to take this expansion at the same time. And if he can actually... I mean, he's not in that bad of a spot if you... I suppose. I mean, he's actually quite far ahead in supply. A lot of this, of course, is roaches, so it's a very supply-heavy army for the cost. A couple of Vipers coming out as well. Now, he could go for an attack and use these Vipers to throw down some blinding clouds. I mean, as it stands, if we come over here to throw his third base, there isn't any units that are worthwhile abducting. Maybe the Mothership Core, but other than that, there's nothing worth using the abduct energy on. So this is a little bit weird. We see this pylon getting taken out over here. These 2 pylons that were here, in fact. So Vanta finally clearing things up and finally going to be able to stabilize once these bases do finish for himself. But you know, Pal behind this, the damage he did was enough to buy. It was enough. He's now gone back home. He's now evened the work account. He's now got his tech up. He's got his upgrades going again. He's got Blink on the way. Immortal's coming out, and his composition is continuing to go forward. what he might do is go for a big follow-up attack here with +2 Blink Stalkers and 2 or 3 Immortals. It's actually against something we saw yesterday Patience doing in the Zawi Celeritas series. However, here we go. Vipers and Hydras and Roaches are moving forward. And again, right now, this army isn't the best of armies. This Immortal's going to get abducted very, very quickly. And Blink isn't quite finished just yet. He's going to have to rely on these force fields to just block the way for now. And Vanta, he doesn't have that great of a creep speed across the map just yet. Has been delayed quite a lot by the having to just deal with that attack. Moving down this left-hand side, Pal just gets ready for this. And oh no! He loses both of his Vipers. This was not how this was meant to be at all. 2 Vipers go down almost immediately here. And great pick off for Pal, of course. Vanta, though, how does he continue with this attack now? Is he going to keep going for it? Well, I guess, I mean, he could. He actually supply blocks Pal by killing this. Pile on force fields come down. A handful more Roaches are picked off. And Pal is just going to still just sit here. I mean, his third Immortal's on the way out. He adds on a second Robo facility. He adds on a Robo Bay as well. So he's not going to attack. He's just going to sit back, or he might attack and recall back. Just kind of see if he has a possibility to do any damage. But he's going to go into fully fledged Colossi production. I mean, the good thing for Vanta is, yes, he still has Vipers already on the way back out again. And there's still no Colossi yet on the map, as this Robo Bay is only just going to finish in the next 30 seconds. But still, I mean, times are tough, and we have a Templar Archives finished for Pal as well, as he warps in 3 Templars, and that's going to make the harassment, the Viper abducts much harder to pull off, as the feedbacks are going to just lay down on them Vipers pretty much instantly. We do see 3 Zealots warping into this pylon on the top side. Going to look for a bit of harassment. Could come and probably deny this base. Here we go. A couple of abducts coming forward. Some sentries are going down here. An Immortal. A couple more Immortals are in the front. One of them may go down. In fact, another one will go down. Can Pal hold on? These 3 Templar in the back, I think they've only had 1 single feedback so far. And Vanta's going to keep moving forward. It's 2-1 against 2-0 right now. Can't really, with this time open these force fields, so he can't fight with the whole of his army. That's really troublesome for him. Making use of his hive, he starts up his +3 missile attacks very, very quickly. And that +3 for the Pros player is on the way too. For an overcharge being used to try and deflect this army a little bit. Zealots are coming in for the counter attack now. This is exactly what he kind of needs to distract Vanta just for a little while here. As these units continue to come forward, may get the mothership core, maybe. No, he will not. A couple more force fields, grab an extra Roach, if not 2 Roaches. And oh, this is interesting. Vanta's going to try and put himself in a position between the natural and the third, where his opponent just has to come in and fight. A lot more Zealots warping in and coming straight towards this expansion. As this fight continues to take place, a Viper comes in and throws down a Blinding Cloud, making this attack not that efficient. And Immortal goes down, but now feedbacks from behind. Getting a couple of Vipers here, and well, I mean, Vanta continues to trade, and the Colossi are now out, and Vanta maybe needs to even just come forward and pick off these Colossi. The Immortal would be a nice pick off as well. Needs to get away with these Vipers at least. Maybe abduct one of these Vipers, but no. Blink forward, picks off 2 of the Vipers and a handful of the Hydralisks. At the same time, this base which we saw being attacked earlier is now dead and gone. And it looks as though a bunch of workers were killed from the first Zealot attack as well, 14 in total. And now, immediately, Pal goes on the counterattack, and the big remax here for Vanta has been pretty much pure Roaches. And pure Roaches, well, I mean, there's a couple of Colossi out, and that's pretty much going to be just amazing against this kind of composition. A single force field here, maybe Pal doesn't feel safe enough committing too much further forward, especially onto the creep, but he doesn't need to. Look at this, a big warping of Stalkers are now going to pick off more workers over towards this third base, and Pal is falling back, so he's not going to be able to attack into this base at the same time. So Vanta being pulled apart a little bit here, as he's still spending his bank. He's adding on some Corruptors now as well. He's got a Great Aspire on the way too. Interesting decisions being made going into these Brutals. There's not a Stargate up for Pal, and that means that there won't be any kind of huge hard counter to the Brutals just yet. Because these Roaches and Hydras come and just sit in this on this base. These Corruptors really need to come out, and 10 Corruptors. Is it even going to be enough with this many Stalkers? I'm not too sure. I mean, Pal is once again here, pretty much on top of the army. Oh, Vanta with the move command. He's going to just come down and try and trade with whatever he can from 2 different angles. Move commanded into the army initially here, and now he's going to keep on trading. 2 Colossi have already gone down. Corruptors are going to start coming in. The rest of the Colossi are starting to fall. Is Vanta trading well enough? I mean, now his corruptors are just absolutely useless until he makes them into broodlords, but that was good. He traded against the Colossi, he reduced the Colossi numbers, but he's going to lose his base over here, and that's a big hit to his economy. Just have this base over here, but this isn't exactly the nicest of bases to just, you know, sit back and defend. It's kind of out of the way a little bit. And another few roaches coming out here. I mean, first few broodlords on the way. And does Pal have any idea about this? What is his scouting been like in this game? Not very great. He's not been hallucinating many phoenixes, but he's been continuing to attack. And, you know, Vanta has to ask himself, where are these zealots coming from? You know, they have to come from somewhere. Surely it's going to click that it's from up here. That wasn't the right vision. Finally now he starts to spread his creep, so if not now, in a few moments he will know that pylon's there. And just killing off that pylon would do so much for him. It would help him out so much. It would stop all of these attacks which have been doing all the damage in this game. As Vanta does continue to build broodlords here, and it looks as though he might even go for a bit of a fight. Stalker's blinking forward. And Vanta having to pull back. Broodlords coming into position now. One way Pal can deal with these broodlords, of course, is just to kind of attack around them. They're very slow to move around, and just attacking where the broodlords are not is a fantastic way to basically make the most of your own army's mobility and counter the immobility of the broodlords. Looks as though a zealot came down there. The stalkers blinking forward. They pick off an overseer. Don't think a Dark Shrine is down, so that shouldn't make too much of a difference at this point. As Vanta is looking to lay siege to this base. The Zealot's still attacking here. I mean, Vanta now, surely, yes, he does see that pylon, but he's still not cleaning it out. Broodlords are here, though, and this is a big death push, and, you know, at this point in time, Pal is just deciding to fight this instead. One of his Colossi are going to go down, if not two, if he doesn't take advantage of, if he doesn't move forward very soon. Stalkers blink forward here. A lot of Broodlords still remain, though, and he's kind of blinking forward into the Roach Hydra, and he is losing a lot. And Pal, after all this great harassment, after all this great kind of just attack, all these great attacks through the game, is he really going to lose to these Broodlords? He is just not prepared for them at all. More Roaches coming in to remax here. There's still a lot of Stalkers. There's not much on the ground to supplement these Broodlords. They, on their own, they're not going to be that great. Another Overseer comes down here. Is there going to be enough? There's still a little bit on the ground to stop these Stalkers just straight up blinking forward into them. Roaches and Hydras kind of just keep on splitting. A couple of Corruptors are going to come in to try and help against the Colossus. And killing off that Colossus would be huge, denying the splash damage against this army on the ground. And the Colossus is going to go down. Some Hydras, some Roaches still alive. The Broodlords are going to continue marching forward as well. The Stalkers are blinking into the main. And Pal is going to have to start accepting defeat here, I think. He's 100 supply down, and Vanta doesn't even kill the pylon in the top right corner, and still he's going to end up winning this game. The force base is already down. The Stalkers blink and try and come for kind of flank on the Broodlords, but it's not going to matter. A couple go down, but the rest of these Stalkers are just going to get traded against, and GG called. DarkStar pull it back a map 2-1. What an absolutely fab ZVP that was on King Sejong Station. And wow, I'm honestly slightly lost for words. That was absolutely a fantastic game from start to finish. Vanta just holding on throughout that harassment. Yeah, he had other bases up, but you gotta remember, he lost his base initially. Yeah, Pal didn't have any probes. Yeah, he had to saturate his third. Yes, he had to tech from there. Wow, but I think, well, I mean, what did Pal do wrong? Maybe Storm? If he could have found time to just make one upgrade and use it from his Tempers, that could have been huge. Wow. So, we're going to be getting into game number 4 here as soon as possible after a quick break. Foster in the chat saying Pal is their only and best player. I don't know. Soul, the Terran player, Soul from MaxFlo, is an amazing player nowadays. He just gets better and better and better. There is, of course, Zazu as well, who is always doing wonderful things and always doing well online. So, I don't know, Foster, I'm going to disagree with you here. I'm going to go against you with this one. Anyway, we'll find out what the next player from MaxFlo is going to be in the next few moments. And as soon as I do know that, I will let you guys know. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, guys. In the break, if you want to check out maybe any past SC2 Improve Team League matches, the place to go is youtube.com/SC2Improve. Do go check it out. We'll be uploading the VODs of the Zowie Celeritas series there over the next couple of days. So do go check out youtube.com/SC2Improve. Subscribe if you want to see SC2 Improve content all over the place on your phone, your iPad, whatever. If you want to watch, if you're a VOD watcher, then go for it. Alright guys, I'm going to go get a drink. Let's run a commercial and we'll be back here with map number 4 in just a few moments. Alright, hello guys, we are back. We're not quite in the lobby just yet for the next game, so we've got a couple of moments before we get into that. It is DarkStar versus MaxFlo. Vanta doesn't even up the series, but brings DarkStar back. Now the scoreline 2-1. We are waiting for the map pick from Soul, and when he is back from the toilet, we will have the map pick from him. So, a big thank you to everyone who is tuning in. Hope you're all having fun. Big thank you to anyone who's hitting that follow button tonight. A couple of guys already have, so thank you to you guys. Glad you're enjoying the show enough to consider following and coming back again in the future. We do have StarCraft 2 improve, SC2 improve Team League action tomorrow, taking place tomorrow as well. It is Sunday tomorrow, so yeah, we've got from 7 PM CEST we will have Against All Authority against ESC Gaming. That should be a amazing series. And we should also have after that Chaos Latin Gamers against AT Gaming, so that should be pretty good as well. I'm not sure if we've got any matches on Monday. If there is a match taking place, we will stream it, but I can't promise anything. Then we probably won't stream Tuesday because WCS is on, and I'll probably go and have a social life for an evening. And then Wednesday we'll probably be having some games, and Thursday almost definitely be having some games, even if WCS is on. So a bunch of Team League games coming at you. We also have some. Individual league coming at you as well very soon, in the very near future. The SC2 Improved Summer League should be being announced fairly soon, if I ever get round to organising anything to do with it. So that would be a good start, and we'll get round to that soon as well. That'll be starting in June. Until then, we're always looking for more and more stuff to stream and cast, so if anyone knows anyone looking for a caster, please do let me know. I'd love to stream some more stuff. More stuff, especially with summer coming up. It's it's going to be fun to just cast all day, every day. It looks as though MaxFloPlay may change their player. Okay, no they will not. Soul literally just got here before I typed in that they could change their player. We're going to get the maps coming up here in a moment. We've had Merry-Go-Round and Overgrowth. And we've also had... What did we just see? That last one, King Sejong Station. So let's just take these out. And let Soul know which maps he gets to pick. So, it is going to be a TVZ, Soul versus Vanta, and that'll be coming up in a couple of moments' time here. We're just getting our lobby set up. So in the meantime, let's, what should we do, what should we talk about? If you're on Bronze to Diamond, tomorrow you can go and check out the Clan StarCraft Improve Below Masters Weekly. That's pretty awesome. If you go to excello.net and then tournaments, all, and then, it's pretty close, but if you click StarCraft 2, it'll pretty much be at the top, so... It's pretty awesome, it's just for fun, and that is tomorrow. I'm sure someone will... I'll throw a link in there maybe in a couple of minutes. If anyone wants the link, just let me know and I'll link you guys to that. So that's for Bronze to Diamond players tomorrow from 2 PM CEST. The matches start, and it should be a bunch of fun. Last week, I know everyone who took part had a bunch of fun. There was actually a crazy amount of people who turned up and played, so it's always awesome to see. And hopefully we'll be able to keep supporting that in the future. No, you probably don't want to see my university login. I don't know why I had that one open. All my probably don't want to see my notes on the cosmological constant either. So probably should close them before I bore you all even more so with that in the future. All right, well. We're just awaiting the we're waiting for the map to be made. Someone's making the map. And there we have that invite from Soul. Alright, so we've got Soul and Vanta in the lobby. I can't suggest anyone to the game. But, okay, we're getting everyone in, so we shouldn't be too much longer here before we actually get started, guys. Just a couple of moments. As we're just having a bit of a lobby discussion. Okay, I have no idea what these guys are talking about. Alright. Okay. We're finally sorted. Sorry about that, guys. I was getting very confused as to what was going on in the chat. But we now have pretty much figured it out, and we should be all set to go and get on into things. Alright, so let's get in game, I guess. Not much else to say about it. Habitation Station is our map. I should have probably mentioned that beforehand. That's something we could have talked about in the last few moments. Nevertheless, here we are. 2-1 right now in favour of MaxFlo. Their new player in the upper right hand corner. In the pink is the Terran player Soul. Going to be playing TVZ here. Now Soul is a player who will play very, very aggressively. If he would, sometimes he will go for that. And he's been a lot of good Zerg players before. And I remember in a qualifier for IEM, I think he beat Kane. Of course, from my insanity. But he does sometimes play very aggressively, so intrigued to see. He also has a killer just macro TVZ. In fact, the first match we streamed of the SC2 Improved Team League Season 2 was MaxFlo versus Cascade, where Soul came out as the second player from MaxFlo against Minato when it was 3-1 to MaxFlo, and he just absolutely destroyed Minato. Like, it wasn't even close. It was just an absolute massacre, and his TVZ is pretty darn monstrous, and his TVZ is what MaxFloPlay here are relying on to take them into the match point and force the fourth player out of DarkStar. Of course, Vanta here in the upper left for DarkStar is going to be looking to deny that and to even up the series. How exciting that would be if we got to 2-2, a 2-2 scoreline. How exciting that would be to watch this series develop. It's always great. If it goes to 2-2, then you're going to see at least 6 games. So that's always very, very exciting. And of course, if it goes to 2-2, the possibility of going to the 7th game is always there as well. So Vanta here in the upper left-hand corner actually opens with a pull first. May very well just be because, I mean, a few Zerg players do this. Tefl is famous for doing this, and it gives you like a similar economy, and it gets you some slings out earlier and a queen out earlier. So some players do this, and in this case, may just want his lings out to deal with a Reaper a bit faster, especially if he thinks something aggressive may be coming across the map from his opponent Soul, who is going with a Reaper. Nothing too aggressive though, it's just a standard Reaper timing, and this is exactly what this Overlord is going to be able to spot here as it flies on through. Going to apparently rally back and forth a little bit. It's not going to be any anti-air out to clean this out for a little while, as we're most likely going to see a second Reaper coming out of Soul in the very near future. Never Overlord coming out of Vanta. And he's pretty much getting his economy just set up and running right now. Queen on the way and a couple of drones coming out as his third base. He's about 60% of the way done. First Reaper heading across the map, and this is where all the action is going to be. This is what all the action is going to be around for the next couple of minutes here, and that second Reaper as well. So let's see what can be done here. He hasn't actually invested in any Zerglings Vanta has, and no Zerglings at all to deal with this initial Reaper. But his first Queen, of course, is out very, very quickly. So this Reaper won't be able to do too much in the main at all. Wants to just come in here to check the gas, and as soon as he sees that gas, turns around and gets out of there. Comes back into the natural, seeing if he can do any damage, but he can't, and he just has to back off for now, and just going to turn around and regroup with Reaper number 2. He's actually just out on the map scouting right now. I think he's probably looking for maybe 2 hidden Zerglings which have maybe escaped the base, because he knows this is a pool first, so he's probably thinking, I haven't seen any Zerglings, where are they? And he's just maybe trying to find them with this Reaper. It wouldn't make much sense to scout like that for anything else. And now we're going to see a couple of drones maybe going down. One goes down, doesn't quite make a spore crawler in time, and well, one Reaper's going to go down too, doesn't quite get that micro correct there. So Soul taking a little bit of damage here. He kills a single worker, but not really worthwhile to lose the Reaper. The Reapers give you so much map control in the early stages, of course, that you just want to keep them alive, get them out with your Hellions as well, and then you can put on such a heavy contain against your opponent. Nice pullback there with this Reaper, as he again just tries to scout around, and he may try and poke back into the main base in the near future, as the first few Hellions are on the way. And we also see a starport on the way up for Soul as well, with a second gas, meaning that we're going to see Hellion Banshee play out of Soul. Always exciting to see a bit of Hellion Banshee. It's a very micro-intensive strategy from for the start of the game. And yeah, it's always fun to see, especially when it's done well, watching. In fact, he's not going for Banshee, he's just making a Viking. Interesting. It's always a pleasure to watch players like MMA, for example, play Hellion Banshee, because it's just kind of pretty much amazing from start to finish, watching him just control Banshees everywhere, doesn't lose anything. Hellions harassing the front, Reapers as well, scouting, and it's just quite amazing to watch. He's going to actually get the kill on this drone, which was coming to make the third base. Takes a bit of damage on his Hellions. Viking's about to come out here. Does he? He's not going to swap over because he's got Stim Pack started. So, a bit of an interesting start. This Viking, of course, will be nice to clear up any overlords out on the map. Unfortunately, there's only really one of them, because as soon as that first overlord starts getting attacked, these other overlords will also just be retracted and into the safety. A nice block at the front stops the Reaper from getting in. And does see the double Evo chamber, probably does see the Balin nest as well. So Soul knows what's up, he knows what his opponent is going for. And ooh dear, that Hellion wasn't meant to be there, as the creepers continue to be pushed forward for Vanta right now. Soul just losing a few too many of his units here and there, I feel. Viking picks off this overlord, and will continue on the hunt for that. Most importantly, he's probably looking to just clean up the drop path between these two bases, and he might follow up with a very quick drop, considering he's already got medevacs on the way. He could go for maybe a 2 medevac drop once Stim finishes, and with the Vikings having cleared this pathway in case there was any overlords there, that definitely seems like a possibility. So picks off a creep team here, and again looking to do damage with these Hellions. No Zerglin speed just yet, only just now metabolic boost finishes up. And 1-1 on the way for our Zerg player as well. Terran player only just starting his double engineering bay right now, so them upgrades are going to be very delayed compared to the Zerg, as we see that Spire coming up as well here. So we're looking at about 12-minute Mutalisks at this point in time, about 11:30 Mutalisks really. So this drop though is going to come just before this the Mutalisks start making, just before the Spire finishes in fact. And look at that, perfect, has exactly the right number of units. Lifts up and just heads on over the map, and again he's got this Viking to just start clearing out this overlord, and with these drops coming out he's going to be able, and with this Hellions on the map, he's going to be able to defend this third base. He's building in location at the gold, and these drops are about to hit the main base too, and there is a Balin nest up, remember, but there's no Balins quite ready just yet. 5 of them are morphing in at the front, but they're going to be a little bit out of position, and without speed it's going to take them quite some time to get into the main base to defend from this drop. And here we go, Marauders, Marines, and a couple of mines all coming out here, and these mines are going to burrow, and oh dear, the spawning pool is most likely going to die, as yeah, he's just going to have to remake that straight away. And oh, Vanta, he's only got these units that are out already, and the mines are actually doing a pretty decent amount of damage too. And now we see Soul just picking up, he thinks about, okay, he loses his other mine. And that was good damage. I mean, he kills the pool, and this opens a huge timing for him here before any more Zerglings can actually be made by Vanta, should he want to push across the map with any more units. It doesn't look like he'll try and do that. His armory now on the way up, and that's going to allow him to start his 2-2 pretty much immediately here. His 6 Mutalisks on the way for Vanta, and these need to get across the map and start doing a little bit of damage maybe after losing a few workers there. That being said, I mean, it's 70 drones to 50 SCVs. This third base was very late to finish up here, of course, for Soul, compared to finding kind of a quick third command center. but drops back in the main base, and right now there's not really units to deal with this. Oh, that one Baneland catches a couple of Marines very fortunately, and that's probably the difference between Soul deciding to go home here and not. Mew's actually going to catch a medevac. Are they going to engage it? Yes, they are. They really should as well. I mean, there's no anti-air here, and he sees this other medevac to the north as well. If he's paying attention, is he going to get that one? He is going to get it indeed. So 2 medevacs actually cleaned up, and this suddenly becomes a lot worse for Soul. He didn't retain them units from early on, and you know, all of a sudden it's so much better for Vanta to, you know, it becomes a little bit more okay for Vanta to have taken the damage he has taken. He's going to look to take a 4th base now as he continues to increase his Mutalisk count, but look at this, Soul's actually already moving across the map. But imagine how much scarier this army would be with 2 more medevacs. Does Vanta even have any units? He's making 16 Zerglings. He sees with his queen now that this attack is coming across the map. He's got 1-1 against 1-1, but Soul is just going to be relentless with the attack. Okay, he's got quite a few Banelands here, indeed. And these really nice Banelands don't even explode on that much. Now they turn around and explode on their Marauders. But I think Vanta's going to be okay here. He's got Baneland speed. I just couldn't quite find where his army was, as he sends everything into his main base, thinking that there's probably going to be a drop after seeing them units load up into the medevacs. That was not the case, however. Right now these units are just holding the towers. Single medevac will now go over to drop, as Vanta just continues to make his units right now. And this is going to be pretty much just a game where it's going to be very back and forth again and again. Somehow Soul has now managed to catch up in upgrades and take the lead. Vanta just not really taking advantage of that and not continuing his 2-2. As he maybe would have liked, and now a drop coming into his main base. He's going to have to deal with this while also pushing back these units in the at the front. No Overseer to clean up that mine, and these this drop in the main actually not doing too much right now. These medevacs unloading once again here. Mutalisk's going to get over here in plenty of time to actually kill this medevac before they do too much damage. They might get an extractor, which is annoying considering he wants to make as many Mutalisks as possible. Cleans up the entirety of this though. Soul already moving down towards the 4th base, looking as though he wants to just attack in and kill this off. And that'd be a very nice pick-off again, denying more gas mining from his opponent. He's going to be able to pre-split in this position. Here come the Banelands, here come the Zerglings. They're going to come in, they're going to fight. Mines go off on a lot of Banelands here, and there's only really Mutalisks left in the sky. A couple of mines get taken down by the Mutalisks, some more Banelands come in, some more Zerglings are rallying forward too, and I think Soul will end up losing everything here. These medevacs are going to get picked off in the very near future as well. The Mutalisks are trading against the Marines. A couple of more mines go down, one more mine left. It goes off on a chunk of the Mutalisks, but everything dies for Soul. And what started off as a very good fight for him has very quickly turned sour, and now he's being chased away by Vanta. He has a supply lead here. And a couple of mines. Well, he micros against them fairly well, and he's actually going to keep on trading against these Marines, which keep coming forward. Now he's going to fly backwards, but I think so far he's done a good job just trading when he can trade. And he continues to move forward. He's going to keep forcing Soul even further back all the way to his reinforcements at his main. But Vanta taking some much needed map control and grabbing himself a much needed break as well from the aggression on his front doorstep. Very important, he does keep his 4th base alive. Hasn't resaturated this gas in the main. And that's kind of course, that's because of how Soul killed that off beforehand. So that's a little bit annoying, not having that gas there. It's going to really actually hurt him. And also, he's only got 2-1 now. He never started his +2 melee carapace upgrade. And that means he's going to be at 2-1. With 3-3 on the way for his opponent. Infernal Pre-Ignited now on the way. We're going to see an influx of 4s and Hellbats into the composition right now, as a medevac is going to come up to this north side of the map, and he's going to drop a mine and some Marines now into the middle line. This mine, how many workers is he going to get? Oh! Gets 5, and now the Lings are here to defend it, but a drop coming down at the 4th base as well, continuing to add on some extra damage here. A couple of Zerglings on their own will deal with this number of Banelands as well, however. Where are the Mutalisks? That's what's really needed as the Marines drop on the low ground. I'm going to get a few more workers before the Mutalisks come over and then finally deal with this. And so once again pushing out with the big army in the middle of the map as well. A couple of Mutalisks going down while cleaning up these Marines, and so falling back. He doesn't actually have, how many medevacs does he have on the map? He does have 4. And one of them is in the main base. 2 of them are in this main base right now, actually harassing. And is he going to get the lair? That would be absolutely huge. These Zerglings are not in a good position to clean this up. And the lift comes down. He's maybe going to have to bring some Koreans in here to get the transfuses off. And these last two medevacs will go down. But look at this, a big stim into the fourth base. And this is something Vanta wasn't prepared for. Loses his fourth, loses a lot of drones along with it. And, well, this is something he definitely wasn't prepared to deal with at all. And now engaging with his Zerglings before his Banelings are here. Banelings are going to try and come from the low ground now, as the splits are pretty decent. And now he's off creep as well. This is going to go fairly well for Soul. However, the Mulisks, there isn't enough anti-air to actually fight them right where they are, and Soul is going to be pushed back once again. Vanta immediately re-establishing that fourth base. Maybe even needs to think about taking a fifth, but it's so hard with this constant aggression of his opponent coming towards him. But he really kind of needs one. There's a fourth base for the Terran players. These Mulisks try to come in to fight, but with so many medevacs and so many Marines, it's just not really possible. Now he maybe will be with a few Balins mixed into the army. Vanta continuing to push forward here, but I'm not sure how effective this has really been. He's against a 3-2 Terran with only 2-1 upgrades. That +2 carapace is a big miss, and he's dropping in supply quite rapidly as well. Now down about 20 supply, and Soul holds on, and now with 4 bases up, with a pretty decent army, with 3-3 finished, +2 on his Hellbats and his 4s. What can Vanta do? I think he's lost too much grip, lost too much of a foot into this game. I think he is in some pretty serious trouble now. Soul is moving down the bottom side of the map. He's going to once again look to cancel this fourth base. Of course, a drop to the top side as he does this. Always the multi-pronged aggression. And that's something which Vanta's continued to struggle to deal with throughout the game. If he knew about it, I'm sure Soul would actually be dropping that gold base to try and deny that. Is there enough unity of a Soul? I think there should be with a split. There's quite a lot of Banelings though, but here comes this drop into the main, and Queen's going to go down. The Lair may even go down here as well. And this is not good, and Vanta turning some of his units around, preparing to deal with this inevitable attack in here. He's actually got his spawner pool under attack once again. Mulisks come in, but they're not going to be able to clean it up in time, and I mean they're going to clean up this drop eventually, but having to make the third pool this game now. And once again, stimming forward towards the fourth base, and the units are out of position again. And again, this base is going to go down, and Vanta just cannot deal with this aggression, which just comes at him time after time after time. Picks up in the medevacs, gets out of there with everything. Medevacs are chasing though. Did he really need to pick up here? He's going to start dropping on this high ground, I assume. But this isn't going to be the best of fights for him. He's going to be all clumped up in a corner. And he's going to lose the majority of his army here. 4 goes down, Banelings explode. Picks off a couple of these medevacs. Oh no, well here are the reinforcements, and now Vanta doesn't really have that much of a choice but to turn around. He's going to get one more medevac before he does that, and his supply is continuing to drop here. He is not able to keep this going. And I mean, where are his Banelings? He's got nothing. He's got only Mutalisks in the sky, and he's got 2 Banelings on the ground, and that is absolutely it for now. Gold base established, but I mean it's a little bit too late to be relying on that. Drones transferring over here. Mule's still going to kind of try and counter-attack. I mean the third base isn't going to be much use to counter-attack. He may be able to turn Soul's army around a bit, and this is something if he could have done earlier it would have been great, but he's just not had the opportunity to. I mean he's been kept so much on the back foot, being forced to stay in his own base and defend from drops and defend from pushes across the map. It's pretty tough, and well, Marines, Marauders, and drop into the gold middle line now. And this gold base is going to start being taken down slowly but surely. Mutalisks are just looking for a way to do a little bit of damage, but they just can't find a solid way in right now. A few Marines, a few Banelings coming in. A medevac picked off, a couple of Marines picked off too. A big mine hit on the Mutalisks though, and now they're very bruised, and that's going to really affect their ability to fight. 40 supply down, 2-2 against 3-3. How does Vanta fight back from here? Well, he's probably going to go for one last attack, try and clean up this army, and go for a big counter-attack. He's going to need the Baneling hits of his life, though. If he is to do this, he's actually going to come around from 2 different angles. This army from the Terran player is going to be sandwiched, but the Marauders in the front are going to force the Banelings to connect and just trade so inefficiently. And now the rest of the Banelings coming in from the other side. Is there enough Marines left to deal with the Mutalisks? Yes, there is. More than enough. Vanta's supply diminishes, and Soul victorious to bring MaxFlo into a 3-1 lead right now. 1 map away from taking this clan war and advancing even further on into the group. I mean, currently with a 3-1 match score, if they win this, they go into 4-1. It's crazy. Guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break as always so that we can just get the next player set up here from DarkStar. When we're back, we'll be seeing game number 5 and see if DarkStar can fight back from match point. In the meantime, do check out our Twitter, twitter.com/SC2_improve if you want to know everything going on in and around SC2Improve. And when we are streaming, we'll be back in just a few moments' time after this quick song and commercial. Let's get hyped because it's a TVT! A TVT! Yes, yes, yes! We have Soul, of course, from MaxFloPlay going up against Avocado, the final player from DarkStar. Can he do it? Can he pull them back? Not just one game, not just 2 games, can he pull them back 3 games in a row? Well, he has to take down Soul first, so let's find out if he can on one of the larger maps in the map pool. It's going to be Frost. In the lower left-hand corner, the pink Terran player representing MaxFlo. It's Soul. Of course, a very solid Terran player. Probably one of the better Terran players in Europe now. I mean, obviously there aren't that many top Terran players in Europe. There's Bunny, and there's Euthermal, I suppose. I mean, who else is there that's Terran in Europe? I'm probably forgetting some really obvious ones. The Muslim, maybe. But I'd say Soul's not really too far off the level of them guys. Yeah, very nearly qualified for WCS. I guess Morrow is one of the better Terran players in Europe right now as well. He's been on fire lately, especially in Nation Wars. Anyway, Soul's opponent is going to be in the top right, the green Terran player Avocado. Who, when he is on a good day, he can have a really good day. I remember back in January when he played against Johnny Rico in the Zowie Gear series. That was absolutely crazy series. He didn't win, but he put on some fantastic games. I think 2 TVZs, which both went to 40-minute, which were both 40-minute long. It was absolutely crazy, so excited to see TVT, excited to see what we're going to see out of both of these players. Like, I assume this was a Barracks and a Gas. Yeah, Barracks and Gas for both players. Maybe just Reaper openings. I don't know if it was 12 racks 13 gas or 12 racks 12 gas. So let's see what these guys are going to get up to. It's going to be some kind of slow tech though. No gas first play, which isn't too surprising on this larger kind of map. It's not really required to go for gas first play to go all aggressive, and it is going to be a Reaper from either side. And on Frost we could definitely see something interesting like a 2 racks Reaper. Soul is the first player to scout out, and he is going to scout in the wrong direction first, of course, because we are cross. But if he scouts and he sees the Reaper of his opponent, and he's going to be able to know that he should be defensive with his own Reaper. And if he's defensive with his own Reaper, of course, he's going to gain a bit of an advantage, and that's an advantage Avocado can't possibly gain without scouting in. It's going to take him quite some while to spot if he does scout now, and he's not. He's just moving down to make an expansion on the low ground. So Avocado could be in a spot of trouble if wow, his Soul just come all the way back home. Okay, so he knows his opponent's either top left or top right, and he's just going to go top left with his Reaper and scout out up there first. Now, there is no expansion on the way just yet for Soul, which is rather interesting. There it is now. It's a little bit delayed there, not too sure why. And oh, these Reapers, they're going to spot each other, and Soul saw it, but he didn't. Either of them managed to attack each other, and Soul's immediately just going to pull his Reaper back home to start defending. He already has one Reaper here, and he's going to be able to pretty much, I think, actually pick off the Reaper of Avocado, because Avocado is going to come down. He's going to start attacking this SCV. The SCV needs to be pulled away, and it will be, but now this Reaper's trapped, and oh dear, Avocado, he's going to lose it. He's going to lose it, and now there's 2 Reapers out for Soul, and they can move across the map and start to do a little bit of damage here. There's no units out for Avocado. He's got a reactor building, he's got a factory building, but there's not a single unit for him. In fact, okay, there's 1 Reaper, and that's pulling all the way back home right now. So there's 1 Reaper, and that is it. And this is the kind of disadvantage to... I guess he just didn't see that Reaper when Soul did see his Avocados. So he's going to start reactoring out some Hellions, but it's going to be quite some time until they're ready. And is this command center going to finish? It's going to be very close. It just finishes here. So in the end, this isn't going to be all too bad for Avocado. He's going to get some Hellions on the way. He's going to be able to hold on from this. He's going to be denied his starport for a little while. SCV is having to be pulled, and Soul going to gain an advantage early on here. This Reaper forces these other 2 Reapers away, and Avocado going to hold on now. Similar builds from both players though. Both are going into Hellions, and again it's just going to be Soul with that ever slight advantage, which he's create for himself already in this game. It's going to be a Banshee play. At least out of Avocado. Is it going to be from Soul as well? Yes, it is. And this, these couple of Reapers just coming back home and now join up with these Hellions and could move across the map if he wanted to. It wouldn't be that smart, I suppose, with Hellions out for his opponent. It wouldn't be that easy to really do any damage. He'd probably find himself just flailing around and losing units with that shorter reinforcement distance for Avocado. So Banshee's just on the way for both players, and eBay already coming down for Soul in the front of his base. Going to be walling off here. And I suppose we could... Okay, we actually see a Banshee coming out of Avocado, so a bit of a different way to deal with this. As now we see a Viking coming out of Soul. So both of these guys are identifying the possibility of Banshees from their opponents. And they shouldn't really take too much major damage from either. I think Soul is going to end up with the kind of worst deal from this. He's going to have to build 2 turrets at least to deal with this, and maybe even a scan if he wants to completely kill it off. Whereas, you know, with the Raven, he's going to almost... With the Raven, Avocado is not going to have to really spend anything else. And the Raven is also going to be so much more useful later on in the game. Because this Banshee does come in, it's going to be just a moment too late against this turret. And it does just turn around here. First Viking is out for Soul, and that's going to start chasing down this Banshee right now. Cloak's finished though. He should be able to just cloak up and move away. He's going to move into the main base, but again, not too much here. Doesn't really be able to pick off right now. This turret has pretty good coverage. And this Banshee actually turned away for a little while before actually coming forward. And here's the Banshee of Soul. So he's actually forced some SCVs to pull away already, because there's actually no anti-air for his opponent just yet. And this is a little bit of a pain. I mean, this Banshee will 100% die as soon as the Viking comes out, but doing some good damage in Soul with 11 workers, 12 workers, 13 now killed. He's going to get up to, what, 15 before this finishes? If not even one more. Yes, he gets it. 16 workers killed, and that puts him at a 12 worker advantage, as both players are just going to immediately start their third bases. Both are just massing up Hellions, looking as though they're probably going to be both playing mech here. Soul already with Infernal Pre-Igniter on the way. Avocado, after losing his some SCVs, he's not going to have these extra gases for a little while longer. So Soul already creating himself a pretty decent advantage right now. As the Starport is going to move along, there's the extra factory is going to start coming down. Avocado the first to place these. No, well, I guess Soul's actually, yeah, he's already got an extra factory with this Infernal Pre-Igniter coming down. So Soul ahead in every aspect right now. And Avocado just going to have to play catch up. 10 workers behind, a little bit better than the 12 from before. Starts up an armory. Double armory, in fact. So he's going to go straight into upgrades while Soul is investing into Vikings. And he's also just investing into more and more units. He's still got just a lot of Hellions out at the front here. And single mine for Avocado in a pretty nice position. He's going to be able to block both possible expansions if Soul doesn't clear that out with his Raven. A lot of Hellions right now. It's 14 Hellions against 10. And again, I mean, Avocado going to have the better positioning at home. But he's also behind in the air army. I mean, he's got 2 Vikings against 3. He's got a Banshee, which will have a little bit of damage. Burrowing this mine at this ramp, but it looks as though Soul may come up the other ramp here. And Avocado, is he in trouble or is he going to be okay? He throws down a scan to see what's up, and he only catches a glimpse of some Hellions turning around. As Avocado now going to start his +1 upgrade. We'll probably look to start his +1 play in very soon too, but he really just needs units right now. He's got a tank on the way. He's about to finish up here. Again, that's going to be very important for him, and he doesn't have the numbers to really fight in the sky, and the PDD comes down faster for Soul, and he's going to move forward, and of course with these Hellions with blue flame are going to be so effective. They're going to kill this tank very, very quickly, and we just have Hellions against Hellions right now, and you can see Soul is just absolutely murdering through everything. The Vikings land from either side, and Soul just has way too much of the Raven from Avocado comes back, and he's not too happy about that game. A single G comes out, and that is going to be game. Max